Humans use their own dead bodies as weapons, blurted out Voro, his frills quivering with a mix of horror and disbelief. The stunned silence that followed Voro's outburst seemed to stretch on forever, the eyes of the alien students fixed on Professor Thaler. The classroom, a blend of high-tech interfaces and organic materials, seemed to absorb the shock that rippled through the room. Professor Thaler, an elder of the Korean species with scales that shimmered a deep blue, adjusted his hollow projector calmly, ready to elucidate the misunderstood and often feared tactics of humanity. Indeed, Thaler began, his voice a soothing contrast to the tension. The humans' combat tactics are unconventional by many species standards. Today, we will analyze the psychological and strategic depths of their methods. Prepare yourselves, for the ways of humans are not for the faint of heart. The lecture hall dimmed as a projector flickered to life, displaying a historical archive of human military engagements. The class consisted of students from various species, each with their own unique perspectives on warfare. They were part of the Galactic Military Academy, an institution renowned for its comprehensive study of interstellar combat strategies. The first image displayed a desolate battlefield from Earth's ancient history, a somber scene littered with fallen soldiers. The humans' capacity to fight under the harshest conditions had long fascinated the Korean scholars, but it was their psychological warfare that drew the most academic intrigue. Let us start with an infamous example from what humans call the Middle Ages. Thaler continued as the image shifted to depict a medieval castle under siege. The humans would sometimes hurl the corpses of the deceased over the enemy's walls, spreading fear and disease. This practice, known as biological warfare, was an early indicator of their psychological prowess in battle. A hand shot up from the back row, belonging to a young Xanthan named Trakkel. His species, known for their strategic acumen, had a deep respect for cunning tactics. Professor, is it true that humans have also used the bodies of their fallen to create barriers or traps for their enemies? Thaler nodded gravely. Yes, Trakkel. On more than one occasion, human soldiers have utilized the remains of their comrades to fortify positions or deceive their adversaries. This act, while gruesome, speaks volumes about their resilience and willingness to use every available resource to gain an advantage. The image transitioned to a modern-day conflict, showcasing humans in mechanized armor, tanks, fighter jets, and advanced infantry units. Despite their technological progress, the core of their tactics remained the same: adaptability and psychological impact. In the wars of the 21st century, Thaler explained, human soldiers employed a tactic known as shock and awe. By overwhelming their opponents with rapid, unrelenting force, they could break the enemy's will to fight. This approach, while not unique to humans, was executed with a level of intensity that is distinctly Terran. Voro's frills fluttered again, this time with curiosity. But what drives humans to such extremes, Professor? Other species, like the Zorans, also face dire situations, yet they do not resort to such measures. An excellent question, Voro, Thaler replied, his eyes narrowing thoughtfully. Human history is marred by constant conflict, both internal and external. This perpetual state of warfare has forged a culture where survival often hinges on the most drastic of measures. Their literature, their entertainment, even their sports reflect a deep-rooted acceptance of violence as a means to an end. The classroom buzzed with murmurs as the students processed this information. The projector shifted once more, now displaying a video clip of a human training exercise. Soldiers moved with precision and coordination, their actions a testament to rigorous discipline. Despite their brutality, humans possess an unparalleled sense of camaraderie, Thaler noted. This bond drives them to protect their fellow soldiers fiercely, even at great personal risk. It is this dichotomy, savagery and solidarity, that makes their tactics so unpredictable and effective. As the video played, showing humans executing complex maneuvers and employing guerrilla tactics, the students leaned forward, their interest piqued. The blend of raw aggression and strategic finesse was unlike anything they had encountered in their studies of other species' military doctrines. To further understand human tactics, Thaler continued, we must also consider their use of deception. Humans excel in misdirection, using false information and feints to manipulate their enemies. One classic example is the Trojan horse, a ruse from their ancient history where they hid soldiers inside a large wooden horse to infiltrate and conquer a fortified city. Trell's eyes widened. Such ingenuity, to think that they can turn a seemingly innocuous object into a weapon of conquest. Indeed, Thaler agreed. This adaptability is a cornerstone of human strategy. They view warfare as an art form, one where creativity and unpredictability are just as crucial as strength and technology. The lecture continued, delving into various facets of human combat, urban warfare, asymmetric tactics, and cyber warfare. Each example highlighted the human's ability to turn the tide of battle through unconventional means, often catching their opponents off guard. As the class drew to a close, Thaler surveyed his students, their faces a mix of awe and apprehension. Remember, the purpose of studying human tactics is not to emulate their methods blindly, but to understand the mindset that drives them. In doing so, we can better prepare ourselves for any encounter, human or otherwise. The lights brightened, signaling the end of the lecture. The students gathered their belongings, still discussing the shocking revelations of the day. Voro lingered, his mind racing with newfound respect and a lingering fear for the human species. "Professor," Voro called out as Thaler was preparing to leave, "do you think we could ever fully understand the humans?" Thaler paused, a thoughtful expression crossing his face. "Understanding humans, Voro, is a journey rather than a destination. Their complexities are as vast as the galaxies themselves. But it is through such study that we gain not only knowledge but wisdom." With that, Thaler exited the room, leaving Voro and his fellow students to ponder the enigmatic and formidable nature of humanity. The galaxy, they realized, held many secrets, but perhaps none as compelling or as dangerous as those of the human race. The Galactic Military Academy buzzed with heightened energy in the days following Professor Thaler's lecture on human combat tactics. Voro found himself haunted by the grisly images and the profound strategic insights. His mind was a whirlpool of thoughts, each more unsettling than the last. The other students shared his unease, their conversations often circling back to humanity's unique approach to warfare. Voro decided he needed answers beyond what the classroom could provide. Late one evening, he approached Trakkel, who was deeply engrossed in a tactical simulation. "Trakkel, may I interrupt?" Voro asked, his voice betraying a hint of desperation. Trakkel looked up, his multifaceted eyes reflecting the simulation light. "Of course, Voro. What troubles you?" "It's the humans, their tactics. How do they come up with such methods? How can they be so ruthless yet so effective? I need to understand this, not just academically, but deeply." Trakkel nodded, recognizing the turmoil in Voro's expression. "I've been pondering the same questions. There's only so much we can learn from simulations and lectures. Perhaps we need to engage directly with human veterans. They could provide insights that our academic resources cannot." Voro's frills perked up. "Do you think we could arrange an interview with one of them?" Trakkel tapped a few keys on his holopad. "There's a human war museum on the adjacent planet of Voros, 3. They have veteran speakers and interactive exhibits. If we propose a field study, the Academy might approve it." The next day, Voro and Trakkel presented their idea to Professor Thaler, who seemed intrigued by their initiative. Within hours, they received approval for their field study. By the week's end, they were aboard a shuttle to Voros, 3. The War Museum was an imposing structure, its architecture a blend of human design and alien influences. Inside, the exhibits were meticulously curated, showcasing the evolution of human warfare from primitive tools to advanced technology. Voro felt a chill as he walked through the halls, the weight of history pressing down on him. Their guide, a retired human officer named Major Allen, greeted them with a firm handshake. His eyes were sharp, betraying years of experience and untold stories. "Welcome to the Human War Museum," Major Allen said with a hint of pride. "I understand you both have questions about our combat tactics." "Yes, Major," Trakkel replied. "We're particularly interested in the psychological aspects and the extremes humans go to during warfare." Major Allen's expression hardened slightly. "War brings out the best and the worst in us. Follow me, and I'll show you some of our most pivotal moments." They began their tour in the ancient warfare section. Major Allen explained the strategies of famous battles such as the Battle of Thermopylae and the Siege of Troy. Voro and Trakkel listened intently, noting the blend of courage, sacrifice, and cunning. As they moved to more recent history, Major Allen paused at an exhibit detailing the D-Day invasion of World War II. Here, our soldiers faced near certain death, storming the beaches under relentless fire. Yet they persevered, driven by a sense of duty and the belief that their sacrifice would bring peace. Voro's frills twitched. But how do you reconcile such sacrifice with the brutal tactics we've studied? Survival, Major Allen answered without hesitation. Humanity has always been on the brink, whether from nature, other humans, or alien threats. We've learned to do whatever it takes to survive and protect what we hold dear. Sometimes, that means using every means at our disposal, even if it seems ruthless to others. Trakkel looked thoughtful. It's not just about winning, then. It's about ensuring survival, no matter the cost. Major Allen nodded. Exactly. War is a crucible that tests not only our strength but our resolve. Those who can't adapt, who can't make the hard choices, don't survive. Their tour concluded in the cyber warfare and future combat section. Here, the exhibits focused on the technological advancements and the new frontiers of warfare, virtual battlefields, drone warfare, and AI combatants. The future of war is evolving, Major Allen said. But one thing remains constant: the will to survive and protect our way of life. That's what drives human tactics, both old and new. Voro and Trakkel thanked Major Allen for his time, their minds buzzing with new insights. As they left the museum, Voro felt a sense of closure, but also a deep respect for the complexities of humanity. Humans are like a double-edged sword, Voro mused as they boarded their shuttle back to the academy. Their capacity for violence is matched only by their will to survive and protect each other. It's a paradox, one we may never fully understand but must respect. Trakkel nodded in agreement. And in that paradox lies their strength. It's a lesson we must remember, not just in warfare, but in our interactions with them. The shuttle lifted off, leaving the museum behind as they soared into the stars. Voro gazed out at the infinite expanse, his thoughts lingering on the enigmatic species known as humanity. Their journey had only just begun, and the galaxy was vast, filled with countless mysteries. But one thing was certain: the humans were a force to be reckoned with, and understanding them would be key to navigating the challenges that lay ahead.